Yeah. Yeah. Oh, alright. That's far enough, I think. Now they're good ways away from the castle. You take a moment to look around. And you find yourself in the courtyard. The view here always manages to steal your breath away. Or are you just breathless from running? Probably both. I wonder if anyone has noticed my absence. Though it goes without saying, you're almost certain the castle is in an uproar by now. Everyone doing their damnedest to locate the runaway princess. That was a lovely little moniker your magic instructor saw fit to place upon you. And while he wasn't necessarily incorrect, your main problem with such a nickname was the fact that your parents had also started referring to you as such. That only ever happened when you'd skip out on your lessons, which was more often than not, admittedly. Even still, part of you wanted to scream about how unfair it was for you to be stuck learning the ins and outs of magecraft while your brother got to sit on his butt all day and do nothing. The perks of being the heir to the throne, I suppose. Your parents made it crystal clear that they weren't willing to cut you any slack. However, so as to not disgrace the family. As such, you were expected to attend lessons 5 days out of a week for hours on end with virtually no breaks. Sure, your brother's magical prowess was almost non-existent. It wasn't like you had much sympathy for the lazy guy, especially not when you were forced to pick up his slack and clean up his messes. There's an upcoming competition used to test the magical abilities of those able to use it, and of course your parents made sure to sign you up for it immediately. Even though your abilities came to you naturally, they were still interested in honing them further to make sure you shine above all other participants. We want you to make a name for yourself, was what they told you. Make a name for yourself, huh? The notion in and of itself is quite laughable in your eyes. Why make a name for yourself when you've already been given one? What's the name you've been given? Lion. Yeah, that's right. Lion. That's your name and you're pretty happy with it. No need to add on anything unnecessary. Or at least, that's what you like to say. Alas, that's not how the world works. At least not for you. Despite having hardly any need to study, Instructor is on you about it daily. On top of that, he's a fairly stiff man. It's not like you dislike him, personally. It's due to all the stress and responsibilities you're meant to shoulder that has forced you to sneak out of the castle yet again, hiding away in the courtyard. You hope the instructor will get tired of your disobedience and just give up trying to find you for today. I can't believe I forgot to eat lunch again. Why am I not surprised to find you here, Lion? Oh! Mr. Najero! And why is it that you can never seem to sit through one of my lessons without fleeing like an impatient child? How did you manage to find me so quickly? And why did you say anything before sneaking up on me? I didn't sneak up on you, my lady. You just didn't hear me approaching. Still relenting like a mature adult, you decide to draw the conversation a bit. You didn't answer my first question. Your instructor shoots you a questioning look, so you suspect that he already knows what kind of game you're playing. Luckily, he decides to play along with you. Practitioners of magic possess a unique aura about themselves. I needed only follow yours. You would know this had you paid attention to my lesson today, my lady. You feel your face flush in embarrassment, prompting you to quickly redirect your gaze towards the trees to avoid his. Well, what now? You're going to take me back to the castle and tell my parents I've been misbehaving again? That was what you were expecting from Najero, anyway. The man seemed to be full of surprises. Instead of proving you right, Najero sat down next to you, folding his gloved hands on his lap. The space between the two of you was silent for a moment, filled only by the incessant chirping of birds and insects. I wasn't the best student either, so I can understand your sentiments, my lady. You looked at the man with confusion painted on your face, surprised to hear that he hadn't always been a renowned figure when it came to magecraft. You seemed like the type that was born great. What would you like to say to Najero? Oh, well, I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe. Huh? Is it so hard to believe that I was once young as well? No, not that. You backtrack a little, shaking your head. It's just, I can only ever see you as an accomplished mage. The image of you ever needing to practice just never came to me. He's quiet for a bit, until he finally turns to face you fully. How do you feel about magic, Lion? Confusion on your face is evident. Humor me, please, my lady. You weren't sure why your answer was so important for him to hear, but you saw no reason to deny him that. Well, I think magic is intriguing. You take a moment to gather your thoughts before continuing. I just don't see why I have to learn it when I'm not even the heir to the throne. If anything, my parents should have hired you to teach my brother, since his magical capabilities are basically zero. Well, your father is also quite mediocre when it comes to using magic as well, while your mother seems to have a natural talent for it. Perhaps it is a matter of tradition. You couldn't help but scoff at the notion. If that's the case, then it's a terrible one. For once, you actually managed to get a laugh out of your teacher. It's such a pleasant sound, and the expression on his face isn't one you've ever witnessed before. You soon find yourself stunned into silence. Thankfully, Najero is quick to fill in. I shall compromise with you then, my lady. If you attend your lessons properly, I will reward you for doing so. The mention of such a thing has you perky up before you can stop yourself. Your curiosity will certainly pique now. Oh? And what will the reward be, Mr. Najero? I have a few things in mind. I figured you maybe want to participate more if it is something you desire. So, is there anything you'd like in particular, my lady? Is there anything you want from Najero? His hand? A kiss from teacher. A kiss from teacher? A kiss from teacher. Kiss from teacher. I want a kiss. Are you being serious? Or are you messing with me, my lady? Takes you a few moments to realize what you were thinking had actually come out of your mouth. Suddenly you were feeling a lot more coy. Well, you were the one that asked. Yes, and I can recall my exact words. I asked if there was anything you wanted in particular, my lady. Well, that's... You couldn't find the words to refute him. You really did want a kiss from Mr. Najero. It wasn't as if you were blind to his charm, of course. You've actually been harboring quite the crush on a man ever since he arrived to be your teacher several months ago. Never thought you'd actually end up telling him about your feelings, though. He was your teacher, after all. If that is what you want, and you uphold your end of the deal, I wouldn't mind rewarding you, my lady. Oh. Emboldened by his acceptance, you decide to push your luck a bit more. So, if I return to the study hall with you right now, could I possibly get my reward in advance? I won't spoil you just yet, Lion. I shall do so only if you put in more effort into your studies. Okay, fine, I will. Although you were a tiny bit disappointed that you wouldn't be getting your reward right away, you were more than willing to wait. Ending 3. Outspoken affection. So what if I asked for praise? And it's not as if I have a thing for praise. It's just, just what if I asked for it? I want to be praised. Yes, I was already aware that you enjoy praise, my lady. However, you do not have to ask that of me. I am no stranger to giving praise when it is duly earned. And you have more than earned the right to be praised, Lion. Najero pats you on the head, his face softening. Very well done, my lady. Tardiness aside, you are one of the best students I have ever taught. I trust you will remember that. Now that you were thoroughly flushed and bashful from his words, Najero places his gloved hand atop yours. If there's anything you want to ask for, as a reward, please feel free to take some time thinking about it. Whatever it is, I am willing to hear you out. A kiss! Watch as your teacher stands up, offering you his hand once he's on his feet. Would you like to return to the castle now, my lady? It's quite a walk back, and I figure you must be hungry since it's lunchtime. Without a moment to waste, you take Najero's hand with a smile and thank him. His body temperature is a little lower than normal, but it feels comfortable when you hold it in yours. Ending 4. The Bouquet. Right, what if I ask for sweets? I want sweets. You want sweets? Your teacher parrots your words back at you, and you give him a nod. If that is what you want, then it can certainly be arranged. Fortunately for you, I carry sweets with me more often than not because my familiars have a penchant for sweet things. Didn't expect you to actually have sweets on your person, Mr. Ninjaro. It's kind of surprising. Never imagined you to have such a laid-back side. I wonder, did you think me to be a stiff man this entire time? You bite your lip in an attempt to hide your guilty smile, trying to make its way onto your face before nodding. Ninjaro sighs. Well, I suppose I should have expected as such. I am practically a different person when I am teaching in order to maintain an air of professionalism. Nevertheless, if it is sweets you want as a reward, I am more than happy to oblige you. From the pouch, Ninjaro pulls out a cookie, then hands it to you. Once you've taken a treat from his gloved hand, Ninjaro pats your head. I look forward to your continued progress, my lady. Ending 2. Sweet Tooth. Right, all that's left to do is like say nothing instead of saying that it's hard to believe. Well, I can tell you have no desire to listen to a boring man like myself prattle on. But all the more same, your parents gave me a job to do and I intend to see it through. Once he said his piece, Ninjaro stands up and begins walking back to the castle. But not before casting you one more look over his shoulder. I will be waiting for you in the usual place. If I do not see you there within the next 10 minutes, I shall send your father to come fetch you. And I know neither of us want to go through such a thing, so please do not keep me waiting. You keep your eyes on his retreating form for a while, simply listening to his footsteps. For some reason, your heart aches a little as you watch him walk away, but you're not sure why. Maybe it's because he basically threatened to get your dad involved. That's got to be it. Ending 1. Undiscovered emotions. Alright, so after you're done with the first 4 endings, you actually unlock a 5th ending, like when you like confess your feelings to the teacher. So like right now, let's ask for a date with teacher. I want to go on a date. Your abrupt declaration brings a look of puzzlement to your instructor's face. Whoops. You weren't really thinking before you blurted out your answer. If that is what you want, my lady, I suggest asking your father to schedule a matchmaking appointment for you and a prince. Unfortunately, that is not something I can grant you. No, I wasn't asking to go on a date with just any man in general. I want to go on a date with you, Mr. Ninjaro. It seems as if your words took more than a few seconds to fully register in his head, since your teacher was simply gazing back at you with a neutral expression on his face. Eventually, he does catch on though. My lady, I trust you're not being serious. I am being serious. You couldn't help but pout at his constant deflection. You said I could ask for anything as a reward, right? Well, yes, but... And so, I want my reward to be a date with you, teacher. My lady, surely you must know what the implications of asking a single man to accompany you in such a manner are. I'm not that naive, you know. His bashfulness must be rubbing off on you, because now you're feeling a bit embarrassed to admit your feelings out loud. As flattered as I am to receive your affections, my lady, and as much as I would love to return them in kind, I highly doubt your family would approve of such a thing, seeing as how I am still your instructor, and also not a prince. You had braced yourself for his flat-out rejection. That didn't sound like he was turning you down completely. Wait, so is that your only problem with it, Mr. Ninjaro? What my family thinks? Well, yes. Added to the fact that I am still trying to come to terms with your confession, of course. I was under the impression that you thought I was a boring man, my lady. Hence your aversion to attending my lessons. You didn't think your disdain for studying would give the impression that it was your teacher you didn't like. No, that's not it at all. I like you, Mr. Ninjaro. A lot, actually. Yeah, if I didn't, I would have probably asked my mother to hire a new instructor by now. I see. He rubbed at his chin in a pensive manner for a few moments, clearly in deep thought. Once he's done thinking, Ninjaro shoots you a small, bashful smile. Then I suppose your reward can be arranged, my lady. We can iron out the details later. Wait, so does this mean we're dating now, Mr. Ninjaro? I know it's sudden and all, but You couldn't help yourself. You just had to know his thoughts on the matter. Fortunately, he doesn't look thrown off by a question at all. If anything, you note a certain softness in his gaze now. Not at all, my lady. Besides, from the sound of it, we have both been pining for quite some time now. However, I dare not voice my own sentiments towards a woman of your standing. Being a man with no nobility to speak of, I had no idea. You couldn't have known, Lion. Nonetheless, I have never been more grateful for your straightforwardness than I am now, my lady. You suppose that made sense. After all, Nijero wouldn't have been the first to confess to you due to your differences in social status. When all was said and done, neither of you really seemed to care that you were a princess. The relationship would surely raise some eyebrows and you could possibly be shunned by your family. But you were certain the two of you could make it work. Now that that's out of the way, Nijero takes your hand in his. Considering your chosen reward will take some time to prepare, would you mind receiving something else in its place, my lady? Oh, sure. What's... The rest of your sentence caught in your throat as you watched the man before you leaning closer until your faces were mere inches apart. Nijero searches your eyes for any signs of hesitance, and once he sees there is none, he advances even closer, until your lips softly connect. His lips are unbelievably soft against yours. And though the kiss itself lasts only mere seconds, the remnants of warmth left in its stead stay buried in your chest even after you've both pulled back. I hope that wasn't too brash of me. Not at all. That is a relief. It wouldn't do for me to displease you so soon after we've confessed to one another. Wait, you never did say it back, Mr. Nijero. Were you going to be Were you being a little childish with that? Probably. But Nijero was still more than willing to humor you. Ah, yes. I suppose I did not. My apologies. I was simply so caught up in the moment that I did indeed forget to say it. I like you as well, Lion. I will do my utmost to make you the happiest woman to ever live. My princess. Ending 5. The Princess and the Instructor. Anyway, that was a Bouquet of Magic. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. And yes, my voice is still recovering, okay? I'm trying to take it easy, but at the same time, I don't want to miss out my daily uploads. But at the same time, like, yeah, like if you guys do have any like shorter games you'd like me to play, whether it's like visual novels or RPG Maker or whatever the hell else you guys would like to see me play, just leave your suggestions down in the comments below. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.